Right after intimacy. When you expect a man to feel closer to you, that is often the exact moment he starts to pull away. Not because he doesn't feel anything, but because he feels too much. What looks like distance is not always rejection. Sometimes it's the strongest emotional reaction he doesn't know how to handle. Think about it. You just shared a moment that felt real, deep, and different. He was present, open, connected in a way that felt rare. And for a brief moment, it felt like something shifted between you, like something became more real. But then, something changes. He goes quiet. He becomes distant. His energy pulls back. And you're left wondering what just happened, replaying everything in your mind, trying to understand where things went wrong. But what if nothing went wrong? What if that moment didn't push him away, but actually exposed something inside him he wasn't ready to face? Because here's what most people don't understand. For many men, the moment right after intimacy is not just physical recovery. It is emotional exposure. It is the moment where his guard is at its lowest, where everything he usually controls suddenly feels out of control. And for someone who is not used to sitting in that level of vulnerability, that feeling can be overwhelming. There is a moment that almost every woman has experienced at least once in her life. A moment so unsettling, so confusing, that it can shake the base of how she sees herself, how she sees him, and how she understands what is happening between them. It goes like this. You had a night together that felt different, not just physically, but in every way that matters. He was present. He was warm. He looked at you like you were the only person in the world. He held you after. He whispered small things. He was soft and open and real in a way that he rarely lets himself be. And you felt it. You felt the closeness. You felt that invisible thread pulling tighter between you. You thought to yourself, this is it. This is what it feels like when it is real. And in that moment, everything inside you settled into a quiet kind of certainty that felt rare and meaningful. And then the next morning, or the next day, or maybe even a few hours later, something changed. He became distant. He went quiet. He replied to your message with 2 words when the night before he could not stop talking to you. He seemed to pull back into himself, back behind the wall, back into the version of himself that is harder to reach and even harder to understand. And you were left sitting there, replaying everything in your head, going over each moment again and again, wondering what you did wrong, wondering if you imagined the whole thing, wondering if you pushed too hard or said too much or felt too much. Your mind keeps searching for a mistake, something you could fix, something that explains the sudden shift, but nothing feels clear. You did not imagine it, and you did not do anything wrong. What happened is something that most women are never clearly told about, something that most men themselves do not have the words to explain. And today, I want to open this up for you, because understanding this one thing can completely change how you move through intimacy with a man, how you respond when he becomes distant, and most importantly, how you protect your own heart while still staying open to real and meaningful love. Because when you understand what is really happening, you stop reacting from confusion and you start responding with calm, clarity, and quiet strength that keeps you grounded. So let us start at the beginning. When a man allows himself to be deeply intimate with you, and this is not just about the physical side, it is about those moments where his guard drops, where he is unfiltered and exposed and truly present with you. Something happens inside him that is both beautiful and uncomfortable at the same time. He has just done something that goes against almost every instinct he has been taught to follow his entire life. Think about how men are raised from the time they are young boys. The message is consistent and repeated in many ways. Be strong. Do not cry. Handle things alone. Do not need too much. Do not show weakness. Do not let people see you fall apart. These messages come from everywhere. from fathers, from friends, from society, from the silent rules of masculinity that reward toughness and quietly reject softness. And by the time a man becomes an adult, these messages are not just thoughts he is aware of, they are built into how he reacts, how he protects himself, and how he moves through the world. So when intimacy removes all of that, when he finds himself in a moment where he is completely open, where he has let you see the version of himself that exists under the image he shows to everyone else, his first reaction is not always warmth and ease. Sometimes his first reaction is a kind of quiet panic that stays inside. Not panic in a loud or dramatic way, but a silent internal reaction that shows up in behavior instead of words. It shows up in pulling away, in going quiet, in the sudden need to create distance where there was closeness just before. What he is doing, even if he is not fully aware of it, is trying to bring back his sense of control. Because vulnerability, for many men, feels like losing control. And the way he knows how to regain that control is to step back, to create space, to return to the version of himself that feels independent and untouched. That version feels safe to him because it is familiar and predictable. Now, here is what you need to understand, because this is the part that changes everything. His withdrawal is not a judgment on you. It is not rejection. It is not proof that the intimacy was not real or that the connection you felt was only one-sided. His withdrawal is a reaction to the intensity of what he felt. And in a strange way, the more real it was, the more likely he is to step back. Because if it did not matter, there would be nothing to feel unsure about. The fear comes from the meaning it holds. The retreat comes from how real it actually felt to him in that moment. Let that sink in clearly. The fact that he pulled away does not mean it did not matter. Many times, it means it mattered more than he knew how to handle at once. Now, I want to be clear about something important. This is not giving you a reason to accept every man who keeps pulling away again and again without change. This is not telling you that his fear is your responsibility, or that you should spend your time chasing someone who avoids real connection every time things become serious. There is a clear difference between a man who steps back for a short time because he is processing real feelings and a man who lives in constant emotional distance. We are going to look at that difference, and I will help you see how to tell them apart. But first, it is important to go deeper into what is happening inside him after real intimacy. Because once you understand this, you stop taking it personally. And when you stop taking it personally, you stop reacting from fear. And when fear is not leading your actions, you begin to respond from a place of real strength and calm awareness that keeps you steady no matter what he does next. Here is the truth about men and vulnerability. For a man, being open with a woman he cares about is one of the most exposed states he will ever experience. Not because he is weak, but because he has spent so much time not feeling that way. He has built a life where he can stay at the surface, where he can function without going too deep emotionally. And then you come into his life, and something about you reaches through all of that. Something about your presence, your energy, the way you make him feel, the sense of safety you give. It reaches past his walls and touches something he has not felt in a long time. In that moment of closeness, everything he has kept down starts to rise. All the softness he has hidden, all the need he has ignored, all the quiet desire for real connection that he has pushed away for years, it all comes forward at once. And for someone who is not used to feeling those things, it can be overwhelming in a very real way. Imagine holding up a wall for so long that you forget it is there, and then suddenly someone reaches through it. You do not just feel the connection, you also feel the weight of everything that wall was holding back. That is what deep intimacy can bring up in a man who is not used to it. So he steps back, not because you are too much, but because he is not yet ready to hold that moment fully. He does not yet have the emotional tools to stay present in that depth and understand it as it happens. So he returns to what feels known, quiet, and safe. He returns to a place where he can think clearly again without the pressure of those strong emotions moving all at once inside him. Now let me speak to you directly for a moment. When this happens, what do most women do? They become anxious. They reach out more. They send another message. They try to bring back the closeness by being warmer, kinder, more available. Or they go to the opposite side. They pull away too, match his distance, play the same pattern, become cold to see if he comes back. Both of these reactions come from fear, and both of them quietly make the situation more difficult. When you reach out more, you are trying to control his emotional state, which places you in a chasing position that changes the balance in the wrong way. Your actions begin to say, I need reassurance to feel calm. And that kind of energy does not invite him closer. It often makes him protect his space even more. When you mirror his distance, you are stepping into a silent game where both people move away while pretending they do not care. And the real connection you felt slowly fades under that pressure. So what do you actually do? What is the response that is both honest and strong? What is the choice that keeps your self-respect intact, keeps the connection open, and shows him that you value yourself? You give him space, but you do it from a full place, not from emptiness. There is a big difference between giving space because you are afraid and giving space because you are secure within yourself. One comes from need, the other comes from confidence and trust in your own life. When you act from that secure place, everything changes. You are not waiting for his message every minute. You are not overthinking every word he said. You are not creating stories in your mind about what his silence means. You are living your life fully. You are focusing on your growth, your routine, your own sense of peace. You trust that if the connection is real, it will come back naturally. And if it does not, that also gives you clear information you can respect. This is not weakness and it is not giving up. It is one of the strongest positions you can hold because it allows him to face his own feelings without distraction. When you are not chasing him, when you are not filling every silence, he is left alone with what he felt. And that feeling does not disappear. It stays with him. It settles in his mind. And if he is capable of real connection, it slowly brings him back toward you. But there is also something important you need to hear clearly. Not every man comes back. And not every man who returns is coming back for the right reason. Some come back because the distance made them curious, not because they are ready for something real. Some repeat the same cycle again and again, moving between closeness and distance without ever becoming truly available. Staying in that pattern, hoping it will change, can become one of the most painful experiences over time. So how do you know the difference? How do you see clearly whether a man is processing real feelings or simply staying unavailable? You watch what happens over time. You pay attention to his pattern, not just his words, because patterns always reveal what someone is truly capable of giving, even when their words sound right in the moment. A man who is processing real feelings will come back, and when he comes back, you will notice small but clear changes in how he shows up. His actions will reflect growth, even if it is slow and not perfect. He will be a little more open than before, a little more steady in how he communicates, a little more willing to stay present instead of pulling away quickly. The distance will still happen at times, but it will not last as long, and it will not feel as confusing. When he returns, there will be warmth in it, not just comfort. Over time, you will see that he is moving toward you, not away from you, and that movement becomes easier to trust. When a man is truly growing, you will start to see that his effort is not limited to intense or emotional moments, but also shows up in simple, everyday ways that feel steady and real. He gives his time, his attention, and his energy in a way that feels consistent, even if it is not perfect. He shows up even when he feels unsure, because he is trying to bridge the gap between where he is and where the connection needs him to be. His effort may not always look smooth or confident, but it feels genuine. And that honesty is what shows that something inside him is slowly moving in the right direction. In contrast, a man who is emotionally unavailable may also return, but his pattern repeats. He comes back when he feels the distance, shows warmth for a short time, and then pulls away again, leaving you in the same confusion without real change. Over time, this cycle becomes clear. The same silence, the same questions, and the same emotional ups and downs begin to repeat. Not because he is growing, but because he is maintaining just enough connection to keep you close without fully committing. The real difference is movement. One man moves forward, even if slowly, while the other only moves back and forth without progress. And this difference shapes your choice. With a man who is growing, the challenge is to stay grounded, to give space without losing yourself, and to remain open while holding your standards. But with a man who is not moving forward, it becomes a question of self-worth. Whether you are willing to let go of something familiar that is not truly fulfilling and choose the discomfort of walking away over staying in a cycle that keeps you stuck. There is a powerful reason why many women stay in this kind of cycle longer than they want to admit, and it comes from the pull of real connection, even when it is incomplete. When you have shared genuine closeness with someone, when you have felt something deep and meaningful, it becomes very difficult to let go of the idea that it could turn into something lasting. The memory of those moments creates hope, and that hope can feel almost emotional, even when the present reality does not match it. This is not a flaw in you, it is simply human nature. We are built to hold on to what once felt real. But the most honest thing you can do for yourself is to look at the pattern as it is, not as you wish it could be. Because no matter how much you care, you cannot make someone ready. Readiness comes from within him. And even if he feels something for you, that does not always mean he can show up for it in a steady and consistent way. So in the end, this leaves you with a clear and personal choice. You decide what you are willing to accept, what consistency looks like for you, and how long you are willing to wait for it. A woman who knows her worth does not chase or lose herself trying to fit into someone else's limits. She shows up honestly, gives in a real way, and if the effort is not returned, she steps back with calm self-respect. That quiet confidence is what truly attracts a man who is ready for something real, because he sees that you are choosing him, not needing him. So when he pulls away after a real moment, remember that the connection was real, and his reaction is about his own fear, not your value. Stay grounded, keep living your life, hold your standards, and trust that what is truly right for you will not require you to beg for it. You deserve someone who moves toward your depth, not away from it, and who sees your ability to feel deeply as something to value, not something to run from.